everybody, this is John. Hey, we're doing a 401k series right now and talking about the different options available to you whenever you leave an employer and you got that old 401k that you left behind. What do you do with it? So basically there's 4 options just to recap. You can cash it out, you can stay in the plan, you can roll to a new employer's 401k plan, or you could roll it over to an IRA. In this particular video, we're going to be talking about rolling to a new employer's 401k. What are the pros and cons of doing that? So number one, you want to check with your new employer just to make sure they'll accept that rollover. Most 401k plans will do that. It's called a roll in from a previous employer. Just ask them if they'll accept that. And so they'll give you the information you need, like who to make the check out to, where to mail the check, things like that. And then you can direct the previous employer's 401k to do that for you. So pretty straightforward process. So as far as the benefits of doing this, number one on my list would be just consolidation. So if I have bank statements coming at me, IRAs, brokerage accounts, it just eliminates a statement. So consolidating that might be a benefit to you. Another option would be just low-cost funds. The 401k plan has a list of fund choices available to you most likely, and some of those might be preferential, expense ratios on those funds compared to what you could find in an IRA or a brokerage account. Some have lower cost shares available to you. The ability to borrow. If you roll in money from a previous employer to your new plan, if they have a loan feature and you want to borrow money, this money could count towards your ability to borrow. Generally speaking, you can borrow up to 50% of the account value, up to $50,000. And so if that's a factor for you, if you're considering doing that and maybe you went to a new employer, don't really have that much of a balance, maybe bringing in that old employer's 401k balance into that new plan could count towards your ability to borrow. So that may be a benefit. Another would be creditor protection. This is another advantage. I'm here in Texas. It's really not a factor for us, but there are a handful of states that don't offer creditor protection in an IRA, but they do offer that in a 401k plan. So you might want to check with your local CPA, tax attorney, financial advisor about the state that you live in just to see if that's a factor or not. Some of the cons, this would be maybe a negative to roll into a new plan, is just limited choices. I don't care if you have 100 different mutual fund choices. Well, that's still, limited compared to what you could have in an IRA. Now, you can't buy individual stocks. It's usually a fund lineup. Unless some plans do have what they call a self-directed brokerage link, and so you could buy individual stocks or maybe ETFs or whatnot, but most plans, you're limited to the choices, and so it may be sufficient, you just may find that limiting. That could be one of the negatives. So you're subject to plan rules. Let's say I leave a company and I want to take some money out. Well, let's see, I got to wait for the 30 days for my status to be updated from active to terminated or retired, whatever that is. And then maybe the plan doesn't even allow partial withdrawals. Maybe they say it's all or nothing. It just could be a delay if you need to take some money out. So you're just subject to plan rules. Another negative might be, hey, what if the plan decides they want to move from one 401k provider to another? It's very common. It doesn't happen that often, but it certainly could happen. At some point, they'll tell you, hey, we're going to have a blackout date from this date to that date. You can't make any changes. You can't make distributions, no loans. And so you might get caught in that time period where, hey, I need some money and we're in this blackout. Another factor would be, here's another one I would add to the pros list, is that what if I'm going to a new employer and that I'm going to leave that employer when I'm at least 55 years old? So one advantage, we talked about this in one of our other videos, is the age 55 rule. So if I am going to leave an employer and I'm at least 55 years old, I can access that money in the 401k plan without any penalties. It's always taxable to you, but there's no penalty for that. So one advantage to rolling in money from a previous employer to a new employer, and then I plan on leaving that new employer sometime before, after I'm 55 years old, that could be an advantage to having that money there. I would have access to that money without any penalty. And maybe I'm not quite 59 and a half yet, but I'm at least 55. It's, I wouldn't say it's a rare thing. It happens quite frequently. It's about the age when a lot of people start thinking about leaving a company. That could be a factor for you. So hopefully these are just some pros and cons. It's something to think about moving from the old 401k plan to the new employer. If you have any questions, please contact me. My email is in the bio section of my YouTube channel, and just reach out at any time. Thanks for watching.